Hello walkers, and welcome to Red Lodge, Montana. It is, I'd say it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, mid-August, and it is, well, it's not as hot as it's been, but it is warm. It is 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I believe, 32 degrees Celsius. Even hotter down in Billings, but we're at 5,500 feet of elevation. Not sure what that is in meters. I'm gonna guess it's about 2,000, a little under 2,000 meters, maybe 1,800. The population of Red Lodge, which, let me just tell you where I'm gonna take you first. We're gonna start up here and we're gonna go down. We're at the base of the town a little bit. I'm going to take you up Main Street. We're going to see a bunch of the old storefronts and hotels and museums and shops and restaurants and all that fun stuff. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the town. And then we're going to loop back coming, well, we're headed south. We're going to come back north through the residential area off to the west here. And like that. So, a little bit about Red Lodge. Well, first of all, thanks for joining me. Leave me a comment about what you think, what I can do better, any mistakes I made, any trips you've been to Red Lodge, or any connections you have to Red Lodge. That's great. I'd love to hear those personal stories. Red Lodge, as I said, has about 2,000 people, and we're walking along Broadway here, about to cross 8th. We're at 5,500 feet of elevation, and it is the kicking off, or one end of the Beartooth Highway. We're about an hour outside of Billings. There's the museum, Carbon County Historical Society Museum. The Beartooth Highway, which leads up through the Beartooth Mountains, beautiful road. Charles Kuralt called it the most beautiful road in America, which I think is saying something. Lovely high alpine views, majestic mountains, all that amazing stuff. And then it leads over to Cook City in Yellowstone National Park. Cook City, a little history. This was originally, by treaty, part of, or ceded to the Crow people, the Apsalika people. In the 1880s, they found gold and coal in here, and they brought in, a lot of people, and they signed a new treaty allowing American Europeans to settle here, and that's kind of how, and it's been here ever since. I'm glossing over a lot there, obviously, but I'll post some more information about it from Wikipedia in the description below, and probably a link to the Wikipedia website. Obviously, this is a tourist mecca here. Beautiful old town, wonderful storefronts, lots of great stuff to see, and there's a great candy shop I'll try to point out to you. But one of the things they do as well is there's a big motorcycle rally here in the summers, typical years anyway. I'm not sure if they had it this year. The Wild Bird Table Cafe and Bistro, one of the restaurants here. There's the Carbon County Courthouse. This is the county seat of Carbon County. Anyway, it's lots of bikers come through here for a weekend and have a big rally. And there's a shop that we passed on the left I didn't point out called Bone Daddy Customs, I think. Additionally, there is, it's got some old antique store here. Additionally, they have a wildlife rescue center, which is pretty cool. They've got all kinds of wild animals that are native to the area that have been rescued. Hi there. Sorry to be waving this around. I'm just poking around, seeing all the cool stuff. It's the Bull and Bear Saloon, Casino and Restaurant. Up here on the corner on the left with the moose sign is the Pollard Hotel, a historic hotel. Very nice inside, nice restaurant. I haven't been here in a few years. Seems like they have opened up a few new stores, which is nice. Phoenix Pearl Tea and Tavern, and the Carbon County News, the newspaper. Didn't realize that was office downtown. Crossing 11th up here. Just passing a store called Lewis and Bark's Pet Store. One of the big things in Montana are huckleberries. And they will put, we will put huckleberries in just about everything that could be sweet or boozy. And you can see huckleberry caramels on advertisement there. This is the Montana Candy Emporium. And I'm not going to go in because of the mask requirements, but one of this very cool candy shop. Seem to have left my mask. Oh no, yeah, in a car. Shame on me. This is Bogart's, we're passing on the right, and then across the way is the Red Lodge Cafe. Oh, and the Coffee Factory Roasters is a pretty good coffee shop, if you're interested. Foster and Logan's Pub and Grill. There's also a ski resort, this bench reminds me. A ski resort right outside of town. I think it's called Red Lodge Mountain, maybe? And north of town, on the way into town, is Red Lodge Brewery, I think it's Red Lodge Ales. One of the original Montana microbrews that got started 10 or 20 years ago. Sure, someone can correct me on that. That's probably not accurate, but it's the Snag Bar, Moo Country. But I love these old storefronts. Sneak out here and show you this side too. Red Lodge Pizza Company, and across the way is the Roman Theater. Carbon County Steakhouse, that's new. I haven't seen that before. When I say new, I mean new since I was here last. trying to dial into my phone because my thumb got sweaty and won't let me in. The Blue Ribbon Bar. Lots of bars in this town. Coming up on a Scoops Pizza. I saw some kids had some ice cream too. I might have to stop there later. Anyway, my thumb got sweaty. I had to dial in. I wasn't watching where I was going. And the reason I needed to get into my phone was to remind myself of the name of the creek that runs through here. And it's one of many rock creeks in the state. Coming up on 14th. You can see a lot of bikers coming through here. I think the Beartooth Highway is a very popular route for motorcycle rides because it's so beautiful, as well as others. And it's a great way to get up into the high country if you want to do a backpacking trip. Although there are a lot of bears up there, so you want to be careful about that. Neat old homes. Let's see, what else can I tell you about Red Lodge? I told you about the Red Lodge Wildlife, I think it's called the Wildlife Rescue. Told you about the mining and rally, candy shop, the bars, restaurants. We're coming up on our favorite hotel when we come to stay in Red Lodge, which has not been a whole lot, but we've been here a few times. Well, I'll show it to you when it's a couple more blocks. There's also a lot of great hiking and mountain biking in the area, and they do have a Nordic center where they have groomed trails in the winter. I think it's a pay type place. Community supported, I guess. Beautiful house over there, and look, there's a deer munching middle of the day. Like many places in Montana, I think Red Lodge is, real estate wise, is booming, especially in outside of town where people can have a little bit of land. Not sure what the prices are like, but look at this. There's a sculpture south of town, Rocky Fork juniper, I think. Takes these old juniper wood, creates these mesmerizing statues. Absolutely magnificent. I love the texture that the debarked juniper it's been stained or oiled. It really gives that kind of brush stroke texture to it. Very cool. This is an old school. I don't know what the deal is with it now, but maybe it's an art center? Who knows? Okay, we're coming up on our favorite hotel. It's called the Yodeler Inn, or the Yodeler, and it's great because it's super kitschy in the sense of having this sort of Swiss Alps style motif, but at the same time being mid-century modern, which I think is just cool. See that? They went all in on it too. It's fantastic. All these coats of arms. We've stayed here, I think I mentioned a few times. I've also stayed at the Pollard, which is also nice. I wouldn't say these are, although they've painted it, so I wouldn't say that they're particularly nice here, but the rooms, but they're comfortable and decent. And if you're looking for a place, not so bad. Looks like the Eagle's Nest has maybe seen better days. I don't think they're in operation anymore. We're coming up on 18th, and I know I said I was going to go to the west, but I'm first going to, oh look at that, the Lupine Inn, Lupin to the west. But I'm actually going to cross over and we're going to go see the creek and then make our way to the east side for just a little bit before we'll cross back over to the west. Geez, look at this place. I think that's a private home. Massive. If you are thinking of taking the Beartooth Highway, be aware that it doesn't open until very late in the year because it's so high up they have to clear snow. And almost like a hotel. It's also very narrow, so if you're towing a big RV, you might want to do a little more research to see if it's an appropriate place to take your RV, depending on the size. There's also very little services offered up there. There's one store. Beautiful, beautiful creek. I wish you could smell the water in the willows. Look at that cold, clear water. Beautiful. So you can almost see, if you look there, top of the mountain, some ski runs. That's where the ski hill is. Sorry for this momentary backtrack. I think this place that I thought was a house is actually maybe a hotel or an inn. I don't see any signage though. We passed that old decommissioned school with the statue outside. Red Lodge actually has a really nice modern high school. Sort of, what is this, north and east of town. Big fancy gym. In a prior job, I shot a commercial for a bank down in there. It was a lot of fun. The Yodeler Motel. Like their sign too, it says Montana spoken here. I know it's a Monday, but everywhere else I've been recently has just been slammed with visitors from out of state. And it seems pretty quiet here. I'm a little surprised. This is a wall tent, something we call a wall tent, if you're not familiar with that. And I suspect that this is a park and ride station for the Stillwater Mine, which is a mine, I think to the west of here, but I'm not really sure. And they've won all sorts of awards for their environmental friendliness and consideration. I don't know what the right term for that is. But kind of one of those places that does mining right while minimizing the impact on the land. You're never going to get zero, but pretty conscientious, I guess. Huh. Didn't realize this little park was here. It's named Finn Park. Finn is my son's name. We're at 17th and Platt Avenue. Platt. Nice little park. You can hear the stream in the background. I guess we'll go this way a little bit. Just wanted to kind of see the houses over here on this side of town. We'll loop back. You can see the mountains up there. I know you didn't come for this, but I'm going to talk just a second about how amazing the camera technologies are now. Just a couple of years ago, the idea of doing this walk with a tiny little camera and it actually staying steady was unthinkable. Not without a lot of money and a lot of gear. And now, something the size of fits in my pocket, really. And it's amazing, even though I'm really not being very careful with this. And maybe it's not as steady as I'd like it to be, but it really does a great job. This and the GoPro 8, both of which I've used, as well as gimbals from my bigger cameras. Just kind of mind-blowing how cool and how much advancement there's been. Coming up on Hauser Avenue, Hauser. Cute little houses in here. Sassy dog. We're on 15th Street, headed west. Not sure what this is, maybe an elementary school coming up? The school year here, like everywhere else, is a bit of a mess. Teachers and school boards and that's where it's middle school, Roosevelt Middle School. They're all trying to do their best given all the constraints. In Livingston, I know they're going to do sort of a hybrid model. People can opt in to distance learning, or if they want to go in person, they have A-B days, so they'll alternate. Kids will go to school one day, and the other half of the kids will go the next day. And when you're not going to school, you'll be distance learning. I don't know the logistics of that, how they're going to make that work, but you know, they're doing the best they can, I think, in challenging times. There's a city pool, looks like a big one, but like most pools, it is currently closed. I suspect because of the pandemic, although it might be in proximity to the school year. Veterans Memorial Civic Center looks like an indoor sports complex, activity complex. Looks pretty nice too. One we have in Livingston could use some upkeep or updates. We're on Oaks Avenue, and this is 14th. And you can see we're reaching the west end of town, so we're going to keep on going. We're going to actually duck back toward Broadway and maybe walk down the other side of the street. That's interesting. There's also a football field back here. Maybe they only use it for practice, and maybe that's the old high school. Crossing Hauser once again. You can see the pool is empty now. It's a pretty little town. A lot of times these towns struggle, obviously, a lot of small towns in this country. And the buildings tend to be a little more run down. This one, they've done a really good job of keeping it beautiful, tip-top shape for the most part. It's really nice. The Cattail Bakery looks good across the way. The Blue Ribbon Bar. Grizzly Peak Outdoors, if you're need some gear, is right here, and across the way is Flash's gallery. A nice little Pride pocket park. Red Lodge Cafe looks like a classic. Make a right on 11th Street, head east a little bit, mainly because I want to see this other building, which looks like it's unused, and maybe an old firehouse. Lots of potential there though. Pretty cool. I'll take a photo. Maybe use it for my thumbnail. Off to the right here is City Hall. Looks like that's been around for a while. Maybe it had some carriage doors or garage doors originally. We're back over to Platt Avenue. Down on 10th Street. It's an interesting contrast of yard displays. Here in town you see a lot of rainbow flags and peace signs, United Against Hate, and then just outside of town you see a lot of Trump, Pence signs and Don't Tread on Me signs. Not that those are necessarily opposite, but let's be honest, they tend to be flown by very different types of people. No judgment, just stating what I see. Just crossed Oaks Avenue and coming up on If you're wondering what that sound is, pounding in some posts. Coming up on Villard, I think. Cute houses up that way. This is the Field School Park. And looks like they have some tennis courts. 3 tennis courts, that's not bad for a town of 2,000 to 3,000 people. A little softball field. Nice lawn. There are a number of churches in this town. There's one, Beartooth Mountain Baptist Church. It's a Church of the Rockies. Not sure what that bigger church is. Guess we're on Word Avenue, W-O-R-D, and 9th Street we're crossing. Hi there. Well, there looks like some cool houses up here. I think that I am going to come down on 8th Street. That's all. It's a pretty cool house. I like the sunken yard. It's pretty interesting. And of course the solar panels are pretty cool. This is Lions Club Park here. Big gazebo. It's pretty sweet. Back on North Hauser. I think we're going to cut through Lions Club Park. Old Northern Pacific Railroad caboose here. Alright, we're back on Broadway here, and I think we're going to call it. Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the walk. I didn't have a whole lot of information for you today. I know some of you like to hear me talk, and I certainly like to talk. It's my fourth walk of the day though, so my legs are tired. I think I might go get some ice cream, call it a day. Thanks for joining us. Leave us a comment below. Leave me your questions. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer whatever I can. If you have information or a personal connection to Red Lodge, Montana, or the area, let me know in the comments below. I love getting those types of feedback. So thanks again for joining us. We will see you next time. Until then, keep on stepping.